I do not know what I'm doing. Hello, welcome to my YouTube. I have YouTube now. Let's do this. I need lip gloss. Welcome to my YouTube. Welcome to Chit Chat with Chan YouTube. Welcome to my YouTube. Welcome to my YouTube. What am I doing? Need my emotional support lip gloss. Whew. Nervous. Hopefully I don't have any boogers. Okay, guys. Most female founders in the online space using social media as their means of marketing are only building half of a personal brand. The part that makes this tricky is that they have no idea what part of the personal brand that they're actually missing. So most of these women are creating content almost every single day. They're extremely consistent. They know their niche, they know what they want to stand for, they know what they do, they know that they are meant to be seen by more people so that they can impact more people. And yet, despite the fact that they show up all the time, they feel like social media's best kept secret. And what they do is they look at other women, their competition, if you will, and these other women, they would think to themselves have 1/4 of the depth that they have, and yet these women are killing it. There are people coming into this other woman's world left and right, getting all the visibility. And they think to themselves, what does she have that I do not have? I'm going to tell you exactly what that is. And once you see this, once you hear this, it's going to change the entire approach to your personal brand. You will not be able to unhear what I'm getting ready to tell you. So by the time that you walk away from this video, you'll be able to ask yourself one question every single time that you sit down to create content. And that question is going to make sure that what you post is actively moving you toward visibility from the right people, attracting attention and building this cult-like community that you so desperately want to build because you're obsessed with what you do. It's not going to be more tactics. It's not going to be a specific strategy. It's going to be a lens that you look through, which I would assume is going to be like this permanent shift in how you see the creation of your content. First, I want to take you back to 2020. You know the time. All the gyms were closed. And at that time, I had actually not been posting on social media consistently, but I started filming myself working out in my garage. And then I would put it on social media, and I had no strategy. I had no idea what I was doing, but that was my life, and I was documenting it because there was nothing else to do. It wasn't just me working out in the garage that I was posting though. I was also telling personal stories, things that I was navigating through at that time. I was making like funny quarantine videos with my sister because we lived together during that time. I was letting people into my actual life behind the scenes and witness my personality, the actual woman behind who I was when I was working out in the garage. And I did that for 2 years. Eventually the gyms opened up, so I brought my camera and my recording with me into the gym, but I was just posting what was real for me. And then I decided that I wanted to create something that I could sell. So I went into Canva, I built a 12-week gym program. It was just like this simple PDF download, and I started talking about it on social media. It was $47. And in one summer, I had no email list, by the way, but in one summer, I started selling this program and it brought in $12,000 in revenue. I was working a 9-to-5. I was also working in a network marketing company. So the gym program was really just this side project. And I swear to you, in that exact moment, that is when I realized the power of personal brand on social media. I understood what a personal brand could do, and I understood that it could bring in opportunities so good that I didn't know what to do with them. And that's truly what I want for you. I don't want you to just create content that gets likes and views and visibility for the sake of visibility. I want to teach you how to build a brand that actually changes your entire life. A presence that makes the right women find you and feel like I finally found the one for me, in a way of like they see you as this leader that they want to be led by. They look up to you. Okay, so it's been 6 years since I have been consistently posting on social media. And I will say this with my entire chest. The highest paying skill right now is the ability to personal brand yourself on social media. There are obviously skills within that skill, but that skill alone will give you a life that most people daydream about or talk about and never get to actually live out. So let's make sure you're actually doing that and doing it the right way. We're going to start with the definition of personal brand. And this is my own definition that I came up with, built through years of studying the game, experimenting, but with myself and with my clients. And the way that we're going to think about this is that there are 2 parts to personal brand, and it has everything to do with the words personal and brand. What I see all the time is that most people are treating personal brand like it's one thing, and it's not. It's actually 2 very distinct jobs. So when you only do one of them, them, you kind of get stuck at like this ceiling that you have no idea what it is. So let's start with breaking apart personal brand, and we're going to start with brand. Let's start with the female thought leaders, especially the coaches, the mentors, and the thought leaders. This is usually the thing that they prioritize. They pour into this side of things, and it works for them. It gets them somewhere, but it doesn't get them to the top. So the purpose of brand is to associate. Your brand is going to be what you become associated with in the minds of the people who are watching you and consuming your content. And being associated with this thing is not just anything. It is a very specific thing, and it's actually a skill set that you transfer to the audience consuming your content. It's a skill set. You are teaching people something. If you want to make impact, become a teacher. And I would say sometimes you're actually doing this without even trying, without a single tutorial or a single like step-by-step or a list goal. Just by showing up and creating, you are teaching something. So let me give some examples because I want this to feel crystal clear to you. When I was posting the fitness content, the gym content, whether I was in my garage or at an actual gym, I was teaching women to lift. I was teaching them self-discipline, self-respect. I was teaching them to love themselves enough to take care of their bodies. I literally like never stood in front of a whiteboard and I said, here's today's lesson on developing self-discipline, or here's today's lesson on how to do a better hip thrust. I just showed up and I embodied that. And that became my association. I was associated with gym workouts, lifting. Okay, so fast forward to what I do now. I teach female founders how to build a personal brand through their content on social media. And I don't just talk about it. I don't just show up and give tips and tricks. I am that. I am a walking and breathing embodiment of what I teach. I practice what I preach, literally, which makes me credible, which makes me trustworthy because I actually have the results that my ideal client desires. That gives me authority. All right, so let's take another example just because I want this to make a lot of sense to you. Let's say you're a relationship coach and you're a relationship coach for women specifically. Your brand is associated with the skill set of females being a really good partner in their marriage, in their relationship, whatever that may be. So even if you never deliver like a public lesson, the way you speak about this skill set, the way that you show up and you talk about it, all of it does teach that skill set. Let's say you're a fashion influencer. You might not be breaking down fashion trends, but showing up and even sharing your own fashion, you are teaching fashion to the women who consume your content. Your audience is learning fashion from you every single time that you show up and you share a post. A furniture flipper who is making videos on the fact that she is flipping furniture. She's inspiring people to see furniture flipping differently. That is the skill set being delivered. That's the association. And it's all built on basically opening people's eyes and changing their perspective on something, making them think, not just showing your work and describing your work, not just talking about your offer or your product, showing people something that they didn't see before they found you. And this quite literally makes up 50% of your personal brand, 50% of what you put into your content. Okay, so I feel like you've probably grasped the brand part of personal brand. This is where I'm going to slow down because this is where a lot of my clients would nod and think that they've got this covered, and they're not even halfway there. We have to talk about the personal part of personal brand. This is where a lot of female founders fall completely apart when they go to, it's not because they're not interesting to people, it's that no one has actually told them what the personal part means in the context of building a personal brand. Are you ready? Let's do this. So if the brand part of personal brand represents association, the personal part of personal brand represents your reputation. Let's talk about the definition of that word because it really matters. This has nothing to do with what you want people to think about you. Reputation is basically defined as what people would say about you when you're not in the room, how they would describe you when you're not in the room with them. And it's based off of what they repeatedly experience from you, what they repeatedly feel from you. And most of you, I say this with love, but because I know that you are capable, most of you are putting nothing in your content that gives anybody anything to experience and feel. You create content that is extremely unconscious. There's no life to it. And then you wonder why people aren't obsessed with what you have to offer. It's because they're not obsessed with you. They don't know you. You're missing that experience. There's a million people doing what you do. A million people in your niche teaching the same topic that you teach. And yes, I know that the way that you teach it is probably different. I know that you are unique. I know that you are a badass at what you do. But there's actually only one you. There's only one you with your specific way of thinking, your specific way of communicating, your specific way of navigating through life. And this is an asset that you have repeatedly just like left on the table. It has everything to do with your personality. I call this personality posts. You know I'm all about defining words. So let's define the word personality. Personality could be defined as the consistent pattern of how someone thinks, behaves, communicates, and moves through the world. That's it. You need to show that. There are specific parts of your personality that when we extract them and we put them into your content, it would make people fall in love with you. And it's not because you're trying to make people fall in love with you, it's just that you are fall in love withable. They see something in you that they admire, they aspire to be like, or because they recognize it in themselves, and everybody likes themselves enough to want to see what they have in other people. And that's what makes them unconsciously think to themselves, like, I want to be around that woman more. I want to be closer in proximity to that woman. The catch about personality content is that it has nothing to do with what you do. Two coaches can create the exact same post, the exact same content on the exact same topic, and yet the content can create two totally different experiences. One coach might be warm and nurturing and kind and compassionate and like patient, whereas the other coach might be intense, motivating, in your face, direct and blunt. Completely different women, and both of these women have an audience that is going to be extremely devoted to them because of those characteristics. Because someone on the other end of the screen found them and literally said, like, I choose her because I like her. And that will be available to you when you stop hiding the personal part of the personal brand. It has everything to do with like letting people in on who you actually are. Here's where this gets a little bit meta. Before you can put that into your content, you have to actually do the work in understanding who you are. If you don't know who you are, then we're gonna have some friction creating the personal part of the personal brand. But there's no arrival at like knowing who you are. That's why I love the evolution of content, because you can do the work on getting to know yourself, and that can be the content that you post. This is why I named my content membership The Evolution. I teach you how to do that. So the one question that I want you to leave with after watching this video, and I think this is going to change the way that you think about every single post, at least I hope that it does. Anytime you sit down to create a piece of content, I want you to ask yourself, is this post going to build the association that I want to be associated with, the brand part, or is this going to build my reputation, the reputation that I would want to have? So remember, association part of the brand is the skill set. It's the transfer of power. It's the thing that you will become known for, the transformation. And then the reputation is the personality, the pattern, the whole woman. And you need both of those things. And when you combine both of those in your content week over week, day over day, month over month, year over year, you will have this personal brand that compounds into world domination. Literally. The reason that you question why you're not getting more visible, why the right people aren't finding you and knocking down your door to enter your world, has nothing to do with your tactics of your content. It's not the hashtags, it's not the time that you post, it's not how often that you post. It's probably not the framework or the carousel or picture that you chose, or the carousel versus the reel. It has everything to do with the intentional persona that you are missing out on building. You've been posting content. You haven't been building presence, and those things are not the same. So this is the work. This is some of the most powerful, transformative, profitable, needle-moving work that you will ever get to do. And if you want to go deeper on this, if you want to be walked through exactly how to build both sides of your personal brand from start to finish, how to identify the personality traits that are specific to you that we need to pull out, and how to build the content that enhances what you are associated with, this is what I walk you through inside of The Evolution. I will drop the link in the description, and you get to decide what you want to do from here. I will see you in the next video. Mwah!